Hello and welcome back to the channel. I've thought about making this video or writing some kind of guide for years now because there's so much bad information out there about Disney in Orlando, Florida. This is typically a travel channel, but I've been asked to make this, so here it is. My videos usually have a lot of video content of whatever I'm talking about. This one is going to be mostly me talking. I promise it's worth it. The information in this video can and probably will materially change your visit to Disney World. I'm going to teach you Genie Plus and tell you the days of the week, the times of the day, even the months of the year that are the best times to go, where the lines are the lowest and the crowds are minimal. I'm going to tell you what to do when you're there and the lines are at their longest and how to make the most of your day in those situations. Take notes, bring them with you when you go to Disney. They will help. Disney in general is expanding. Permits were just filed in the Animal Kingdom to expand. I believe Dino Land is being taken down. There are a lot of changes underway. Disney just settled its lawsuit with the state of Florida, so I believe they're going to start pumping money into the parks. Magic Kingdom expansion is definitely high on the list, I believe. There should be some really big changes that are going to be announced this Saturday at D23. If you're not a D23 member, about $100 a year, I think it's really worth it. Just an interesting note, the Magic Kingdom itself is a 2-story building, if you didn't know. There's something called a utilidor that is built on the first floor of this structure. So the utilidor is a system of tunnels and rubbish chutes and meeting rooms and changing rooms and break rooms that exist underneath the park. So if you're looking at the Magic Kingdom from the lake, you'll see that it's elevated. It's pretty cool. I've never had a chance to tour the utilidor, but I believe that they do offer guided tours where you can at least get to see the utilidor. And I think the VIP tours also include at least a look at the utilidor. I've never seen it. I've been dying to see it for years. So this is not a clickbait video. It's not based on word of mouth. It's not based on bad Facebook information. I truly know what I'm doing in Disney, and I've studied Disney for years, mostly for my daughter. I'm, of course, a lover of Disney. My family has always been, Disney blood in them. So I've been to the parks many, many times and have used what I'm about to tell you many times, works every time. When I do go, which is sometimes as many as 2 times in that many months, it's a rare day, even during spring break weeks, that I don't do everything that I set out to do. And that's true for going with my daughter or going with someone who's been there for the first time. This works for everybody. I first want to talk about when to go. Like many of us, we're confined to school vacation weeks or summers. Generally, the busiest time of year in Disney is Christmas, Halloween, during party weeks to some extent, February through Easter, depending on when Easter lands during the spring, and then all summer long. Each of the summer months are busy too. For days of the week that are best to go, well, it's impossible to predict park attendance for any particular day. I mean, I've literally joked that Vegas should have a line on park attendance at Disney because it's so unpredictable. Generally speaking, the slowest days in the park are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, with Sunday and Monday being the busiest days. Rain does not scare anyone away. If you think it's going to be a light day because it's torrentially pouring out, tighten that poncho up. It's going to be worse. Not only are the crowds undeterred, but there are going to be a lot of rides that go down because of the rain. So other lines are going to be longer, the park's going to be fuller. One secret to finding a nearly completely empty park is to go during what's known as the party days. You may or may not have heard of this before. During certain times of the year, especially during Halloween and Christmas, the park closes to regular guests at 6 p.m. only to reopen at 6 p.m. to people who buy party tickets. Last year was the not so scary Halloween party, Christmas parties throughout the Christmas season. The reason why those are the best days to go is because people don't want to buy a ticket to the park when they know that their day is going to end at 6 p.m., which leaves the park pretty empty, like eerily empty. The thing is, it doesn't really matter that the park closes early because you'll literally fly through the park on those days. You'll be done by 6 p.m. anyway, easily. It's all the same on those days. I mean, the parades still go on and the shows still go on just like any other day. Disney's open 365 days a year. I mean, just think of that. That's just incredible. So that gives you some guidelines to plan around if you have some flexibility. The goal is, and what I'm here to help you do, is to find the times where most rides are walk-ons and planning around those times. That's the goal. There are, of course, times when we don't have flexibility. We just need to go when we need to go. So that brings me to the most confusing of all issues, Genie Plus. First, to dispel some of the rumors that I've heard, you should absolutely purchase Genie Plus if you can. I've heard some nonsense that it's not worth it. These people really just don't know how to use it. Genie Plus is one of the many tools that I'm going to give you in this video. So let me tell you about Genie Plus. There are two types of Genie. There's regular Genie and there's Genie Plus. Everyone has regular Genie in their app. It's not a service, it's an app function. The regular Genie that everybody has is just a way to organize your day within the app. You know, if you're going on a cruise ship, it's basically the same app that's on a cruise ship. It just tells you what's happening and when and where, and it allows you to populate a calendar for whatever you decide that you want to do. That's all it is. Genie Plus, the paid service, gives you lightning lane access. Lightning lanes are the same as the old Fast Pass lanes, if you remember the Fast Pass lanes. It's just a way to cut the line and to get on a ride quicker than waiting in a standby line. Lightning lanes don't always feel like lightning, maybe a squall or cloudy day. When the parks are really, really busy, there's huge lines even in the lightning lane. But if you use Genie Plus the right way and with these tricks, you will absolutely master your day and utilize the park so much more than you would otherwise. You may be using up to 15 or more lightning lanes in one day if you do it correctly. Don't feel dumb if you can't figure out Genie Plus. Something I hear all the time. It's really confusing. It requires some strategizing. I promise that anyone can do it though. First, the cost. The cost of Genie Plus is based on the anticipated park attendance for that particular day in each park, and can range from $19 for the day all the way up to $40 or $39. A very good way to predict park attendance for a day is to check the Genie Plus prices. If it's a $29 charge for the Magic Kingdom for the day, it's going to be a really busy day. Genie Plus does sell out. Not always, but it does. Don't wait until you get into the park to buy Genie Plus. I'll explain when to do that and how to do that. There are two times of the day that matter when it comes to Genie Plus. One is the time that you actually purchase the Genie Plus. You can't purchase it in advance. You have to purchase it on the day that you're going to the park. The second time of the day that matters with Genie Plus is the time when you can start using it, when you can start making your selections. First, you can actually purchase Genie Plus at midnight on the day that you're going into the park. The price doesn't change during the day. Once it's set, it's set. So you can literally wake up at midnight and buy it. You don't need to wake up at midnight and buy it. The morning will do, but early morning, very early morning, as I'll explain. You should expect that the parks are going to be busy. Even in the slow season, after the school breaks, can have crazy attendance on a particular day just out of the blue. Just expect that the park is going to be busy, and then you can relax when you get there and it's not. So Genie Plus, this is what to do. You wake up at least at 6:30 in the morning on the day that you're going to the park and purchase Genie Plus for the whole group at that time. Once you buy it, you're not remotely done. If you're staying in a Disney resort, and check the website as to how that's defined, I'll link it in the description. In addition to what's called rope dropping, which I'll explain later, you need to start stacking your Genie Pluses at exactly 7 a.m. This is just like concert tickets. You just need to keep refreshing the app until Genie Plus is turned on and you can start making your selections. So purchasing Genie Plus. The first thing you do is you open your app, the My Disney Experience app. The house icon on the bottom left, click on that. That will bring up a purple bar. The purple bar where it says Genie will have a purchase option. Click on the purchase option, click through, and you'll find options to purchase with the price as to which park or multiple parks if you're going to do multiple parks in the day. Click through and it'll ask you which people in your party you're buying it for. Make your selection, make your purchase. You've now purchased Genie Plus. This is important. This is really important. After you purchase Genie Plus, your home screen is going to change. That purple bar is going to change. So the purchase option is going to disappear, and you're going to see a little tiny link called My Day. My Day is where you're going to find Genie Plus. It's how you get back to Genie Plus. It is not a great app. It's hard to find. It can be extremely frustrating. Find the My Day in the purple bubble. That's how you're going to get back to Genie Plus all day long. You're going to use that 100 times in the day. So once you click on My Day, it's going to open a screen with 2 tabs on the top. There's going to be Tipboard and there's going to be My Day from left to right. To make Genie Plus selections, you click on the Tipboard tab on the left side. Then once you make the selections, you'll see them populate in the My Day tab. So making selections. So now you've already purchased Genie Plus. It's about 6:50 a.m. Open up that Tipboard. Remember, click into My Day, Tipboard, and begin waiting. When I tell you that at exactly 7 o'clock a.m., probably 100,000 people are on that app looking to make selections and refreshing the page constantly until 7 a.m. I'm probably lowballing. You're going to see selections disappear in seconds. In terms of selections, there are 2 types of Genie Plus selections. This is also very important. 90% of the rides are regular Genie Plus, not regular Genie, the free one, plain old Genie Plus. About 6 rides around the park are a different kind of Genie Plus. For those rides, lightning lanes may be purchased for additional money. So you're essentially buying a ticket after you've purchased Genie Plus for a particular ride. You cannot purchase one of those lightning lanes unless you've already purchased Genie Plus. So let me say that again. Unless you buy Genie Plus, you cannot get into a lightning lane, period. There's no way around that. This second type of Genie Plus, the pay per ride one, you have a maximum of 2 per day. So I mentioned, I think there's about 6 rides that have this type of Genie Plus. You can only buy 2 in a particular day. I have nagged guest services to override the system for me when I go into like Hollywood Studios at 4 o'clock and Rise still has tickets in 5 minutes for lightning lanes, and ask them to sell me a lightning lane for, me and my daughter. They physically can't do it. I mean, they wanted to do it. There's no way to override the system. You are absolutely limited to 2 per day. So plan for that. Here's what you need to know about normal Genie Plus that you've purchased, not these ones I was just talking about. Normal Genie Plus. First, at the very top of the Tipboard, make sure that you have the correct park selected. This can be maddening. So again, you go into My Day, click Tipboard, you're going to see at the very top of the Tipboard, you're going to see the park. You just click on the park. You're going to see the 4 different parks. Click on the one that you're going to that day. That matters because if you're park hopping and you're going to go to a second park a little later on, you can still make Genie Plus selections in that other park while you're in the first park. You just need to make that change at the top of the Tipboard. So once the park is selected, you're going to scroll down and you're going to start seeing different options. At 7 a.m., you're going to be making 1 to 2, possibly 3 selections for each person in your party. Most likely 2 selections. You're going to have your first Genie selection, the one that goes along with Genie Plus, and then you're potentially going to have your second one for the additional cost, those 2 selections. Or if you're going to max out on the extra Genie Plus selections for the day, then you're going to buy 2 of those at that time. So you'll have 3 selections for each person in your party all at once at 7 a.m. So making your first selection, this is the absolute most confusing part of Genie Plus that make most people think it's not worthwhile. For regular Genie Plus, you cannot choose the time of day for your selection. The app is only going to offer you the next available time. This is infuriating. It makes it very hard to plan your day, and it makes it very confusing. And I'll explain later why that is and how to sort of work around that. Once selections are made and the Genie Plus fills up or the lightning lanes fill up for that particular time, the app will move up to the next available time, and it continues that throughout the day. That's how Genie Plus works on the regular Genie Plus side of things. So the more popular rides at 7 a.m. as you're scrolling through the different available options, you're going to see are already at 11 o'clock. in the morning, within minutes of Genie Plus opening. As people continue to pick Genie Plus selections, the next available options will continue to get later and later throughout the day. You'll see, for example, Small World. Small World is going to be at 9 a.m. when you're looking at 7 a.m. when you're making your selections, because nobody's going to use a lightning lane for that ride. It's 20 to 30 minutes at the most, and it's usually not worth using a lightning lane for. But you'll see in seconds, Peter Pan's going to be 11 a.m. within seconds. I mean, like 7:05, Peter Pan will already be up to like 10:30, 11 o'clock. So to that point though, even if you want to do a ride later on in the day, say you have Beauty and the Beast tickets or Be Our Guest tickets, and you're doing it around the parade, and you want to go at 3:30 when the parade ends, you can't pick that until the app allows you to pick the 3:30 spot. So you would have to wait for that, and I'm going to explain why you should not do that. So now it's 7 a.m., you have all your selections and available options opened up on the app. You figure out which one you want to go on and make that selection. That's it. You've now made your first selection. Again, you're not done yet. So this next information is really, really important. It's based on circumstances, it's based on the day, it's based on your game plan for the day, and I'm going to try to explain it in more detail in a bit. But the rule is, once you make that selection, once you make a selection in Genie Plus, you cannot make another random selection until that selection is used, until you tap in to that ride. So I'm going to explain that you can also make one every 2 hours. It's a different issue. But as far as a random selection, you cannot make another selection, a random selection, until you tap in to the selection you just made. So, and this is the really important part, if Peter Pan is at 2 p.m. when you're going in there at 7 a.m., use Genie Plus for something else. Don't take Peter Pan at 2, because you're going to be sacked until 2 p.m. Until you tap in at 2 p.m., you're not going to be able to make another selection relative to the random selections throughout the day. You've just used your Genie Plus pretty much for the entire day on that one ride. Use the other things that I will tell you in order to get on that ride in a different way. Now, that may be worth it if you're dying to go on Peter Pan. I mean, if your whole point is to go on Peter Pan, then at least by using your selection for the 2 p.m., you're guaranteed to get on Peter Pan for 2 p.m. That's up to you. I don't think it's necessary. I think that there are other ways that you can get on Peter Pan without killing a Genie Plus selection for the day, or really killing it for the day. There's sort of a balance between the rides you want to go on and the number of rides that you want to go on. So it's different for everybody. So many people believe that Genie Plus is the only way that you're going to get on a ride, otherwise you're going to wait an hour in line. That's not true at all. So now we talked about two different types of Genie Pluses, which is the regular Genie Plus where you're making selections throughout the day, and then there's the purchase Genie Plus of those 6 or so rides where you just buy a ticket to get on for that particular day. Now, there's 2 types of Genie Plus selections too. So 2 types of Genie Plus, and now 2 types of Genie Plus selections. There's a selection that you make at 7 in the morning, the very first selection that you make. Then there's the one that you can purchase, but there's a whole nother type of selection, and that's the 2-hour selection. This is what's called stacking. The rule is that you're able to make a selection every 2 hours, even if you haven't tapped into the ride yet for your first selection or next selection. Beginning at 9 a.m., you're able to make another Genie Plus selection, even if you've not used the prior selection. That means throughout the day, you're able to stack your Genie Pluses. So you're able to have the regular Genie Plus that you use as you go through the day, and then you have your every 2-hour Genie Plus. If you open the app and look in the tip board, at the very top of the tip board, there's going to be a section there that tells you when you're next available to make a Genie Plus selection. And that's for both types of selections. It's a 2-hour one and the regular one. So me personally, for the 2-hour selection one, at 9 a.m., I put an entry in my calendar just to remind me to make another selection. So let me say this again. As soon as you tap into a lightning lane, which means as soon as you wave your card or your wristband into the lightning lane, you can now make immediately another selection. So once you tap in to a lightning lane, before you get on the ride, make your next selection. It's going to take you 2 seconds, but make your selection then. So now you have your 7 a.m. selection and you have your 9 a.m. selection. As you go through the day, as you tap into lightning lanes, you make another selection. If 2 hours passes and you haven't used the lightning lane, you can make another selection. That's it. That's about all there is to Genie Plus for 99% of people. So for regular Genie Plus, that's how Genie Plus works. Make your first selection at 7. Once you tap in on that selection, you can make an immediate another one. Every 2 hours, you get a selection. And as you go through the day, just check the tip board and it'll tell you when you're available to make your next, or eligible to make your next selection. So one additional important bit of information is on the big rides. You know, the Tron and Guardians and Slinky Dog and Flight and all of the ones where you can purchase, Seven Dwarfs, where you can purchase an individual lightning lane selection. So some of these rides don't even have standby lines. I mean, they have these virtual queues, which we all hope they're going to get rid of sometime soon. So if you want to get on those rides, you need to buy a ticket for the ride, an individual lightning lane ticket. The prices range from anywhere from maybe $17 all the way up to $30 for one ride, on top of the Genie Plus cost, on top of the park admission cost. But again, you're buying these at 7 a.m. You do not want to wait to purchase your lightning lane tickets for individual lightning lanes on any of these big rides. You do them at 7 a.m. The reason is because you can pick your time. So as you lay out your day, you can pick exactly when you want to be on that ride, which is the goal, right? And so there's no reason to wait to purchase those. If you know you want to go on Tron, figure out when you want to go on, arrange it around your day, and pick it for that time. You want to go on Guardians, you're park hopping, you know you're going to park hop around 2, make a 3:30 selection and buy it at 7, in the morning. Just because you can buy those doesn't mean you're able to buy those. They sell out constantly. The times sell out and the ride altogether sells out. I mean, I've been there many times where Guardians just sells out for the day. I mean, they're open till 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, and it's sold out for the entire day. So one final thing that I'll say about Genie Plus before I move on, and this applies to other topics that I'm going to discuss today, is what happens when a ride goes down when you have a selection for that particular ride. The rule is the ride goes down, and by the end of the time that you're able to use that selection, the ride is not back up, the selection now converts into a multi-pass. So what is a multi-pass? Multi-pass is one of the greatest things out there. A multi-pass means you can go on any ride you want in the lightning lane at any time of the day, except for like the top ones, the purchase ones, Tron, Guardians, and all of those. Slinky Dog, Seven Dwarfs, everything else. Haunted Mansion, Peter Pan, Jungle Cruise, Pirates, you name it. You can literally just walk in any time of the day that you want into the lightning lane and go on the ride. That's called a multi-pass. So that's an extremely powerful tool. It's obviously luck of the draw and circumstances have to be right. Rides go down all the time. Disney's open 365 days a year. So it's for that reason why you kind of want to select the Genie Plus selection, even if there isn't a ride that you want to go on immediately. I mean, it's ethically questionable to do that, so do what you will. But if you have a selection and the ride goes down, you now have a multi-pass to go on any ride you want in the park. Any park, by the way. So if the multi-passes, if the ride goes down in Magic Kingdom and you get converted to a multi-pass, you can park hop to Hollywood and use it on Millennium if you want. So it's really a very powerful tool. So that's Genie Plus. In a nutshell, buy Genie Plus by 7 a.m. if you're staying in a Disney resort. Again, I'll link the description as to what is considered a Disney resort or Disney hotel. Go to My Day, make your selection, your regular Genie Plus selection, make your individual lightning lane selections, maximum 2 per day. And as the day goes by, make a selection every time you tap into a lightning lane and make a selection every 2 hours regardless. If you stack them correctly, you'll be using them all day long. I mean, on a very busy day with me and my daughter in 3 different parks, we used 15 lightning lanes apiece. And realistically, we could probably have used more after the fireworks. They were just all the rides were walk-ons at that point. If you've got any questions about Genie Plus, please leave it in the comments and I will try to answer them the best of my ability. That is the snapshot of Genie Plus. So let's move on from that. Like I said, Genie Plus is just one tool of many tools. An absolutely fantastic way to master your day is what we call rope drop. It does actually refer to an actual like 50-foot rope, if you're wondering. Now, rope drop isn't a secret. The word has definitely gotten out. It's getting more and more popular. There are more and more people that rope drop. But no matter what, rope drop is an absolutely necessary part of your day. The rule is that anyone staying in a Disney resort, hotel or resort, again, check the description for the link to the eligible hotels and resorts. You may enter any park 30 minutes before the opening time. First of all the parks get busier as the day progresses. So that's a known fact. Even though the parks are full in the morning and there's long lines in the morning, generally speaking, the parks get busier as the day goes on. Those are just the facts. So rope drop is essentially being at the park a half hour early before the park's open to go on rides before it's open to the public. So it's a great thing to be able to do. We call it rope drop. The mistake that people make is they think that they can leave their hotel at 8 o'clock to be there by 8:30 or to get to the transportation center by 8:15, to get to the park a half hour earlier, and you'll be able to go on all these rides. And when you get there, you'll see there are literally 1,000 people in front of you waiting for the rope drop. Within minutes of that rope dropping, Peter Pan's going to be up to 60 minutes in no time at all. I'm going to put up some video of the Seven Dwarfs Mine. This was maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes at the most after rope drop on a Monday morning, I believe. That's well over an hour. This is well over an hour wait, about 20 minutes before the park is even opened. So doing it correctly, you can get on 4 or 5 rides before the park even opens. Just note that only certain sections of the park will rope drop. I'll link that in the description as well in terms of what does rope drop and what does not rope drop. So the point is, you get up at 6:45 in the morning, get your selections, get out the door, get to the transportation center, or get on the Skyliner when it opens. Be the first ones at the rope. If you can be the first ones at the rope, you're going to go directly in. Just like fireworks, you're going to see the worst of human behavior during rope drop. There's going to be people running. You're going to get pushed. It's crazy. You're going to see cast members telling people not to run. They completely lose control of the crowd. It's truly a madhouse. So keep that in mind. If you have young kids, you may not want to do that or do it differently. But it does get very, very, very crazy. Humanity is not quite exemplary. In fact, leave in the comments if you have a good story about being in the parks and people being rude, because as much as I don't think I'll ever be surprised by stories, I always seem to be surprised. Last time we were in the Magic Kingdom for fireworks, a woman had her literal hands inside my daughter's hair trying to take pictures of the video of the fireworks. In any event, that's rope dropping. Rope dropping is an extremely powerful tool. I don't know how to emphasize it enough. If you can get to the parks on time and you can get in front of that huge crowd at rope drop and you can get your rides lined up the way you want to get them lined up, you're going to have 4 or 5 rides done before the park even opens. And here's the other thing about rope drop, that even if you don't get to the park on time, right? So you get up a little late, you get there before the park opens, but you get there behind the 1,000 people in front of the rope, you're still going to be an advantage because the lightning lanes aren't open. What slows down the lines at Disney, we all know, are the lightning lanes. When you take away the lightning lanes, the line just moves. People just get on the rides. So if you get there before 9 o'clock and you start getting on rides before 9 o'clock, if you see a Peter Pan posted at 60 minutes, it's not going to be 60 minutes because there's no lightning lane slowing it down. Cast members go by where the line is, and that's where they mark the timing. And I'm gonna talk later about the inaccurate times anyway. Posted times are generally overstated regardless, but get in line. It's going to move fast. It's going to move a lot faster than you would expect. So that's rope drop. Rope drop is an extremely powerful tool. Please use it. Obviously, you need to be staying in a Disney resort to do that, and they're very strict about that. In fact, you cannot get to the rope without first scanning yourself in. They're going to check you first. So they do have barriers of entry as you get into the park. Another tool that can help you is when rides go down. Disney's open 365 days a year and closes, for 10, 11 hours a day per day, and is open for every other hour of the day throughout the year for 50 years now. So rides go down all the time. Let me explain why that's a tool rather than an obstacle. First of all, the busiest rides go down the most, right? We can all agree with that. When rides go down, cast members dump the queue and they evac riders. So the entire ride is completely empty when the ride goes down. If you ask a cast member when the ride's going to be up, they're going to tell you they don't know. And they have no information to give you. But here's the thing. Since there are literally no people in line or on the ride when the ride goes back up, if you're standing at the line when the ride goes back up, you now have a walk-on on, potentially one of the busiest rides in the park. I've done this so many times, and I'm going to explain that there's a way to predict that. I just got back from Disney and walked right onto Rise with exactly the information that I'm telling you right now. So, number one, if it's a roller coaster type ride or a ride where you can see the cart on the outside of the ride, there are things called maintenance lights that go on. So when a ride goes down, the cast members, the engineers that come in to fix it, flip on what are called maintenance lights. If you're standing outside of a ride, and I suggest the timing is maybe 15 minutes. When you see a ride down, wait outside the line maybe 15 minutes, and if one of these things happens, then stay there and wait. So if the maintenance lights go on, it means they're fixing the ride. You can't really see the maintenance lights unless you're looking for them. You really need to look for them. They're not obvious. But if you're standing outside of a ride that's down and you see the maintenance lights go off, the ride's about to go back up. I mean, especially, and a lot of people know this, if you see an empty cart that's going around the ride is going to get back up. Get near the line, you're going to have a walk-on for that experience. The second way of knowing, which is a much more controversial way of knowing that a ride is going back up, one where cast members have argued with me that I'm wrong about this, is when a ride is down and you all of a sudden see a whole line of cast members in the front of the line. If you see a whole line of cast members in the front of a line for a ride that's down, it's going back up in like 10 to 15 minutes at the very most. The way I got on Rise, walked on Rise, was there were 10 cast members in the front of Rise. And as I chatted with one of the cast members that I knew the ride was going back up, they were arguing with me that I had no idea what I was talking about, and then the ride went back up. Don't spend your whole day waiting outside a ride that's down, but spend 15 minutes. So these rides, the ones that are most popular and that go down often, you could walk on to. So if Peter Pan goes down, again, it doesn't go down that often, but if Peter Pan goes down and you're standing outside when it opens up, you are gonna go straight through the switchbacks, right onto the ride, and you will have done Peter Pan without killing your Genie Plus for the day. That's the luck of the draw. You never know when a ride is going to go down. So what I recommend that you do is look at the map frequently and look to see when rides are down. Now, the way that you tell that a ride is down, when you're looking at the My Disney Experience app, you look at the map, you look at the wait times. If there's no wait time and in place of a wait time, there's a star, that means the ride is temporarily closed. If you click on it, it will say temporarily closed. You may, if it's a ride that you really want to get on, you may want to go straight to that ride and just wait by the entrance to it. If you see people lining up, you're about to get on the ride that you want to get on. There are certain rides that go down all the time. Haunted Mansion goes down, I think, at like every 30 minutes. Certain rides are almost predictable. So that's not all. So there's another very powerful tool, and that's knowing when the lines relax. There are two very big ones. the Festival of Fantasy Parade and the fireworks. So Disney keeps nixing the noon Festival of Fantasy Parade. I mean, at some point, maybe there'll be 2 parades per day, but right now there's only 1. But at 3 o'clock, as I'm making this video, you can be assured that all of the lines in the park are going to be down significantly because everybody's watching the parade. So the Festival of Fantasy Parade is from gate to gate about 30 minutes, a little more than 30 minutes. So you have a 30-minute window there where if you don't care about watching the parade, you're going to be able to get on some rides. During the fireworks is another positively fantastic time to get on rides. There are no lines. You will walk on whatever you want to walk on. So, you know, if you keep using Peter Pan, if you want to get on Peter Pan, everyone's going, especially the kids, are going to be in front of the castle watching the fireworks. Go walk on Peter Pan 4 times if you want during the fireworks. And it's not just the castle, you know, whether it's Luminous at Epcot, whether it's PhilharMagic in Hollywood Studios, the crowds generally will be at the show. So whatever you're trying to get on, you're going to be able to get on them relatively quickly during those events. And I'll add a third time, at least at Magic Kingdom, and that's after the fireworks. So if you're there during a busy day, which means you're already frustrated and you're already, you know, there's a lot of rides that you haven't been able to get on, then there's going to be 1 million people in front of the castle for the fireworks. Well, when the fireworks are over, whether you're taking the monorail or the ferry or the buses, don't ever take buses. Buses are an absolute time killer. They're going to be sacked for the longest time because everybody's trying to get home. You know, the kids are falling asleep. I mean, it's hard even to get out of the park. So instead of waiting in the monorail line for an hour and a half or however long you want to be there, just cut back from the crowd, go the opposite direction and ride some rides for an hour. I mean, to some extent, the word has gotten out on that a little bit. Last time I was there, after the fireworks, a lot more people were staying as we were, but still, like, you know, Pirates was a walk-on. It's just the mass of crowds are not there at that time. People are going home. So, and again, it's because people aren't using lighting lanes. So the standby lines, however long the standby lines are, and I'll promise you they're short. You're going through switchbacks, again, like nobody there, but people are for sure not using lightning lanes. And you're literally just walking on. I mean, it's kind of sad and funny at the same time that there's a lot of parents that are sort of still dragging their kids along that are half asleep and miserable at that point just to get on those few extra rides that they missed during the day. So the Magic Kingdom has over 50 rides, right? At least at the making of this video, since expansion is in the rumor mill at this point. Use all of these tools to help you plan your day out. You're going to get on more rides. You're going to have more experiences. You're going to be less stressed out. You're going to have a plan, and you're going to have a wonderful day, I promise. Let me move on from tips about how to plan your day and on to more park-specific things. So wait times. I should note that standby lines still do exist, right? I mean, you can still stand in the regular line and get on the ride just like anybody else. You shouldn't be scared away by standby lines. I've seen people specifically testing standby lines at Magic Kingdom and other parks. And I can confidently say that standby lines are generally overestimated by anywhere from 15 to maybe 20, 25 minutes. You know, I've watched times all day on the app, and you know, if you see standby times going up for a particular ride, it's probably an accurate standby time. But if you're seeing it steady, or if you're seeing the standby time drop, you know, 30 minutes to 25 minutes, it's probably a walk-on at that point. I mean, by the time you get there, there's going to be very little line. You know, there's no rhyme or reason as to what they post and what the times actually are. I've spoken with cast members about how they predict those, and even cast members don't really know. They base it on where the line is, and that's it. So time of day and all these other factors that we've discussed aren't really entered into that equation. Food. Let me talk about food for a little bit. One of the last very true facts in the park, especially in the Magic Kingdom, has to do with food. Food lines can literally be as long as some ride lines at times. You should never, ever stand in a food line. The biggest secret, I guess, in the park is mobile ordering. Go to the app, click the plus button right in the middle, and right around the middle of the options is going to be an option to order food. Click on that. You're going to find wherever it is that you want to order from and place your order. So each one of the food stands that has mobile ordering has specific staff put aside, cast members put aside for mobile ordering. If nobody's mobile ordering, they're generally just sitting around waiting for somebody to come and mobile order. The way you do it is after you click order food, you order your food, you check out, you're then going to get a message that says your order is ready to be prepared or to be pushed out, and then you need to click on I'm here, right? So don't just order and then go to the window. Wait for the app to tell you that you're ready, and then click I'm here, and they'll put it up on the counter for you. Do it while you're standing in front of the actual booth. So as all those people are waiting in line, stand back, open your app, make the order. It's going to be ready in minutes, if not less, honestly. It's one of the biggest secrets in the park. I see almost nobody do it, and obviously, well, nobody knows, it's going to continue to be a good tool to use. It's an absolute time saver. This sort of brushes my knowledge of the parks. There's so much more to it when it comes to Disney. It's like a true study in sociology. But I've been thinking about making this video for such a long time because I see so many people like sitting on the curb, not really knowing what to do and just being frustrated. Like I can feel the frustration in a lot of ways. I see kids crying because they can't go on rides. And so I really hope this helps you have a great trip and understand how to use Disney better. Disney is the literal most attended theme park in the entire world. Disney World is. The numbers of people that go there are beyond imagination. You learn how to do Genie Plus, you rope drop, you keep an eye on rides that are down, you plan out when you're going to go on certain rides, you use geography in order to plan your day out, so you don't want to be walking back and forth and back and forth. You know, you strategize where you are and where you're going to go, and you're going to have a good day. Your feet are going to hurt less. You know, this stuff works. I promise it works. So let me know in the comments. Like I said, this is a travel channel. I usually do cruise content and other vacation content. Let me know in the comments if you would like more Disney World content. I'm happy to make some more videos here and there about Disney. I have so much knowledge with Disney that it's a shame to not share it. You know, whether it's like camera policies on rides or the memory maker, different Disney experiences, Be Our Guest restaurant, Space 220. I mean, there's so much out there to share with you that I'm happy to do it. Let me know if you want to see some more. I mean, I didn't even touch on Disney Springs. Disney Springs is like an entire theme park on its own, honestly. There's 10 neighborhoods. It's just an incredible experience. Marilyn Monroe's actual boat, speedboat is there. Walt Disney's actual speedboat is there. They're right behind the boathouse. You can just walk back and see them. There's so much to Disney and what Disney has to offer that I'm happy to share it with you. Just let me know in the comments. I'm happy to make some more videos like this. So this is a brand new channel. I've been meaning to start a travel vlog for years. I've been putting it off and I finally decided that I'm going to do it and I'm going to be committed to it. I have all this information and all these different ideas that help make your vacation a lot better. So subscribe to the channel if you would like to see more content like this. In terms of this specific video, please share it. I feel like there's so many people that don't understand how to use Genie Plus that I feel terrible using it the way that we use it. I'm going through 15 lightning lanes a day, and I hear a woman in the Jungle Cruise line say that she doesn't even know where to start with Genie Plus at 10 o'clock, you know, when she's got a few hours left before it becomes useless. I personally wish everyone knew how to use Genie Plus. I wish it weren't so complicated. I wish that they would change to being able to pick your time. So, in any event, thank you for watching. I have a different vlog that I'll link in the description as well. It's a legal vlog. I'm an attorney in Massachusetts if you're interested in that kind of content as well. But thank you very much for watching and enjoy your Disney vacation, and I'll see you next time.